Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to you, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to The Show Must Go Online. I'm Sarah Peachy, actor, producer, and innovation project manager. Every week, a global cast and crew of all levels of experience donate their time and talent freely as part of a mission to create Shakespeare for everyone, for free, forever. We thank you for joining us tonight for our 30th consecutive Shakespeare production in as many weeks. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, remembering of course to hit the bell icon to receive all notifications, and follow us on at TSMG Online Live on Twitter or at The Show Must Go Online on Instagram and Facebook. Tonight's all-women and non-binary production of Macbeth will commence in approximately 15 minutes' time. First, a warning that tonight's show includes a slew of content warnings, including blood, death, violence, murder, self-harm, child loss, violence against children and infants, and more. Content warnings will be given in the live chat. But first, brought to us by the wonderful Ben Crystal, it's my pleasure and honour to welcome to the show Dr. Kavita Mudan-Finn. Kavita is an independent researcher in the Greater Boston area, most recently a lecturer in literature at MIT. She has published on Shakespeare's history plays, medieval and early modern queens, transformative fan works, Game of Thrones and Hannibal, among other things. Kavita, the show is Macbeth and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Rob and Ben, for inviting me to be part of this amazing series. And congratulations to the organizers, cast, and crew for putting all of these productions together. You are all stars. Now, I know this wasn't intentional, but there is no month more appropriate for this play than October. The atmosphere of Macbeth is one of cosmic horror. The dawning sense of doom never quite dissipates, even at the end, when order is ostensibly restored. It even has a curse, as many of you already know, but just in case you don't. Saying the very name of this play is supposed to bring you bad luck, especially if you say it in a theater. In short, to steal from another play featuring ghosts, something is rotten in this kingdom of Scotland. This is Macbeth. Now, I wish I had some light effects or something for this, but unfortunately I do not today. Just as a side note, according to the late Sir Donald Sinden, formerly of the Royal Shakespeare Company, more actors have been injured during productions of Hamlet than productions of Macbeth. So the curse may merely refer to bad ticket sales or bad reviews, but just to be safe, you might consider calling it the Scottish play. Now, I have seen Macbeth live on stage only once, and it was more than 20 years ago, so this is very exciting for me to get to see it live a second time. But enough about me. This play begins on a blasted heath with three witches. Their conversation is brief, almost nonsensical, but it ends on an ominous note. Fair is foul, and foul is fair. 2 scenes later, these witches encounter 2 Scottish generals, Macbeth and Banquo, who are returning victorious from battle against the King of Norway. They hail Macbeth by 3 titles, only one of which he already possesses, Thane of Glamis, Thane of Cawdor, and lastly, and most dangerously, King Hereafter. When Banquo asks for a prophecy of his own, he is told that thou shalt get kings, though thou be none, before the witches vanish into thin air, leaving no further information. A messenger then enters to announce that Macbeth has indeed been named the Thane of Cawdor as a reward for his victory, thus seeming to confirm the truth of the witch's words and prompting Macbeth to begin plotting to take the throne of Scotland with murder. This isn't the earliest of Shakespeare's plays to include witches. There are a number of witches that show up in the early history plays, for instance, Joan of Arc in Henry VI, Part 1, Eleanor, Duchess of Gloucester in Henry VI, Part 2, and arguably Queen Margaret in Richard III. Joan tries to conjure a devil to save her life. The others are engaged with prophecy, seeing the future, or in Margaret's case, channeling the grief of the past into prophetic curses against her enemies. But these witches are different. Joan, Eleanor, and Margaret are introduced as political players who happen to be supernaturally inclined. The 3 weird or wayward sisters from Macbeth seem to have tapped into something a whole lot bigger and a whole lot scarier. They only appear in 4 scenes, each relatively short, but they have become synonymous with Macbeth, the way that ghosts are synonymous with Hamlet, and their prophecies shape the rise and fall of the title character. But they are not even the scariest thing in this play. This is a play that drips with blood, that fairly hums with tension from the first line to the last. Many of the scenes take place at night, and some theatrical scholars have suggested that it may have been one of the plays staged at the indoor Blackfriars Theatre by candlelight. It is also the shortest of Shakespeare's tragedies, and that means that there's a lot that's never quite fully explained. But that's also part of the point. The world of Macbeth, much like the world of King Lear, is a fundamentally broken one. And even at the end, after Macbeth is defeated, we can't be sure that anything has actually been fixed. We are told at the beginning of the play that Macbeth is a courageous, honorable man, loyal to his king and loyal to his country. Before he even appears on stage, King Duncan has already awarded him the titles and lands of another lord convicted of treason. Note the irony there. Macbeth's wife describes him as full of the milk of human kindness, though it should be noted that she doesn't exactly mean that as a compliment. Yet, by the end of the first act, Macbeth is plotting to kill the king and take his place, because 3 witches on a blasted heath told him that it was his destiny. He's not Richard of Gloucester, who breaks the 4th wall to tell the audience how much he desires the crown and how he'll cheerfully kill anyone who gets in his way. He's not even Iago, the master manipulator who gets those around him to kill one another. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth invite King Duncan and his sons into their castle as guests. Lady Macbeth drugs the guards at Duncan's door. Macbeth stabs Duncan and, at least initially, frames the guards for the murder. Fearing for their lives, Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donalbain, flee the scene, which leads the other lords to suspect that they were involved. Macbeth succeeds to the Scottish throne in the ensuing chaos, but at the cost of his peace of mind. He now suspects everyone around him of plotting against him. The witch's grand prophecy, it seems, is much closer to a curse. In short, Macbeth is good at killing men in battle, but he's really bad at murder. And once he's done it, it eats at him from within. He hears spectral voices cursing him. Sleep no more, Macbeth doth murder sleep. The very universe seems to revolt. Characters talk about unnatural storms, ghastly shrieks in the night, and in one memorable instance, horses eating each other. Yes, there is cannibalism in this play, of the horse variety, the equine variety. Macbeth unravels before our eyes into a paranoid insomniac, sees the ghosts of his victims, and desperately seeks guidance from the witches who caused all of this in the first place. When he finds them, they assure him he is safe, and that none of woman born shall harm Macbeth. Since this is a tragedy, we all know how it ends for old Mackers, but I won't give away the specifics. So I've talked a lot here about horror, about the supernatural, but as I said earlier, that's not the scariest part of Macbeth. The title character begins the play in a position of privilege. He's a lord with his own castle. He's good at his job, and based on their interactions in Act 1, he seems to have a happy enough marriage. Now, Lady Macbeth is a fascinating character in her own right, an ambitious woman with big dreams for her husband that just happen to align with those witches' prophecies from the first act. And I, at least, am tremendously excited to see how my impression of this play is going to change with today's casting choices. But from a political standpoint, there doesn't seem to be any reason for Macbeth to do what he does. Before he encounters the witches, there's no sense that he's even interested in being king. Once he starts down that dark path, however, it consumes him. He grows obsessed with keeping his crown, no matter the cost. He arranges the murder of his close friend Banquo because he fears the witch's other prophecy, that the sons of Banquo will inherit Macbeth's throne. Banquo then haunts him, both literally and figuratively, but all that does is increase Macbeth's paranoia. In the meantime, the surrounding lords struggle with a situation that we in the US and the UK, at least, understand all too well. Scotland is in a state of crisis, and the man in charge is clearly unhinged, making poor decisions and justifying them ex post facto. Prince Malcolm, generally agreed to be the best choice to replace him, can kind of seem underwhelming at times. One of the lords, Ross, sums up this feeling in a short speech that I at least found to be highly topical. Cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumor from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea each way and move. As though worried he might be overheard, he cuts himself off. I'm sure we have all felt this way over the course of this year, and in some cases, cut ourselves off before we said something we felt might be too risky to speak aloud. Macbeth is not a play that lends itself to easy answers or to easy questions, but I am so excited to see this production with its stellar, all-female and non-binary cast, and to rediscover this play through the most fascinating lens. Thank you all, and enjoy the show.
Thank you so much for that brilliant introduction, Kavita. So now, groundlings, the show is about to begin. So please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, post your reactions on social using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline, and enjoy William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Act 1, Scene 1. A desert place. Enter 3 witches.
When shall we 3 meet again? In thunder, lightning, or in rain?
When the hurly-burly's done. When the battle is lost and won.
That'll be ere the set of sun.
Where the place?
Upon the heath.
There to meet with Macbeth.
I come, Greymalkin.
Haddock calls.
Anon.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 2. A camp near Forres. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox, with attendants, meeting a bleeding sergeant.
What bloody man is that? He can report as seemeth by his plight of the revolt, the new estate.
This is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend! Say to the king the knowledge of the broil as thou didst leave it.
Doubtful it stood, as 2 spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their art. The merciless MacDougall, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him. From the western isles of kerns and gallow glasses is supplied, and fortune, on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak. For brave Macbeth, well he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like Valor's minion, carved out his passage, till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nave to the chops, and his head upon our battlements.
Oh, valiant cousin! Worthy gentlemen!
As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwracking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark! No sooner justice had, with valour armed, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norwegian lord, surveying vantage with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault.
Dismayed not this our captains, Macbeth and Banquo?
Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bathe in reeking wounds or memorize another Golgotha, I cannot tell. I am faint, my gashes cry for help.
So well thy words become thee as thy wounds. They smack of honour, both. Go, get him surgeons. Who comes here?
The worthy Thane of Ross.
What a haste looks through his eyes, so should he look that seems to speak things strange.
God save the king.
Whence camest thou, worthy Thane?
From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor, began a dismal conflict till the Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us.
Oh, victory!
Victory!
Great happiness!
That now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition. Nor would we deny him burial of his men till he dispersed at St. Colm's Int $10,000 to our general use.
No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title, greet Macbeth.
I'll see it done.
What he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 3. A heath near Forres. Enter 3 witches.
Where hast thou been, sister?
Killing swine.
Sister, where thou?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. I'm going to be rich, the rump-bed Runyon cries. Her husband's to Aleppo gone, master of the tiger. But in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do.
I'll give thee a wind.
Thou art kind.
And I another.
I myself have all the other. And the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know in the shipment's card. I'll drain him, dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, peak, and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest-tossed.
Tell me, tell me.
Here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come.
A drum, Macbeth doth come.
The weird sisters hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to thine, and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up.
A foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far's it called to Forres? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like the inhabitants of earth, and yet are on it. Live you? Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me, by each at once her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be women, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Speak, if you can. What are you?
All hail Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Valliere!
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
All hail, Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are you fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner, which you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favor nor your hate.
Hail!
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 Lesser than Macbeth and greater.
Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo.
Banquo and Macbeth!
All hail.
Say, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you.
Earth hath bubbles, as the water has, and these are of them. Whither are they vanished?
Into the air, and what seemed corporal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed?
Were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten of the insane root and takes the reason and poisoner?
Your children shall be kings.
You shall be king.
And Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so?
To the self-same tune and words. Who's there?
The king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and When he reads of thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend. Which should be thine or his? Silence with that in viewings o'er the rest of thyself same day. He finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death. As thick as tale came post to post, and everyone did bear thy praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him.
We are sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee in his sight, not pay thee.
And for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me from him to call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine.
What, can the Dell speak true?
Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?
Who was the Thane that lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose? Whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line the rebel within the hidden help and vantage, or with that of both, he laboured his country's wrack. I know not. But reasons capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him.
Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. Thanks for your pains. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them?
That trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles, to betray the deepest consequence. Cousin, a word, I pray you.
Two truths are told as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. This supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth? I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion, whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise and nothing is but what is not.
Look how our partner's rapt.
If chance will have me king, why, chance may crown me without my stir.
New honors come upon him like our strange garments, cleave not to their mold, but with the aid of use.
Come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day.
Mirthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure.
Give me your favour, my dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. Think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having weighed it, let us speak our hearts freely to each other.
Very gladly.
Till then, enough. Come, friends!
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 4. Forres, a room in the palace. Enter King Duncan, Lennox, Malcolm, Macduff, and Donalbain.
Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned?
My liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had been studied in his death, to throw away the dearest thing he owed as 'twere a careless trifle.
There's no art to find the man's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Oh, worthiest cousin! The sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved that the proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due than more than all can pay.
The service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your Highness' part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should, by doing everything safe toward your love and honour.
Welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labour to make thee full of growing. A noble Banquo that hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so, let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart.
There, if I grow, the harvest is your own.
My plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our estate upon our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland. Which honour must not unaccompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you.
The rest is labour, which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave.
My worthy Cawdor.
The Prince of Cumberland. That is a step on which I must fall down, or else owe a leap. For in my way it lies. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see.
True, worthy Banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome.
Hey!
It is a peerless kinsman.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 5. Inverness, Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth alone with a letter.
They met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report they have more than immortal knowledge. When I burnt in desire to question them further, they made themselves air into which they vanished. While I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came misses from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weird sisters saluted me and referred me to the coming of the time with hail. King, that shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee. Lay it to thine heart, and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised. Ah, yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou would be great, are not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou would highly, that wouldst thou holily, would not place false, and yet would wrongly win. Thou'st will have great glams, that which cry, thus thou must do, if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, than wish it should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valour of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. What is your tidings?
The king comes here tonight.
Thou art mad to say it. Was not thy master with him, who wert so would have informed for preparation?
So please you, it is true, our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message.
Give him tending. He brings great news. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my bat. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the axis and passage to remorse, that no combunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast, and take my milk for gall, you murder. Wherever in your silent substance you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that mine keen knife see not the wounded meeks, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Oh, great Glamis worthy quarter, greater than the both by the all hail hereafter. Oh, thy letters have transported me beyond the ignorant present, and I feel now the future is in the instant.
My dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight.
And when goes hence?
Tomorrow, as he purposes.
Oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my Thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that is coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall, to all our nights and days to come, give solely sovereign sway and masterdom.
We will speak further.
Only look up clear. To alter favor ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 6, before Macbeth's castle. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, and Angus.
This castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses.
This guest of summer that the temple haunting martlets doth approve, by his loved masonry that had the heavens as wooingly here. No jutty frieze buttress nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. Where they most breed and haunt, I have observed the air is delicate.
See, our honoured hostess. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble.
All our service in every point, twice done and then done doubled. We're poor and single business, contend with those honours, deep and broad, wherein your majesty loads our house. For those of old and late dignities heat up to them, we rest your hermits.
Where's the Thane of Cawdor? We cursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holp him to home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight.
We, your servants ever, have theirs themselves and what is theirs in compt, to make their audit your highness pleasure, still to return your own.
Give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess.
Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 7. A room in Macbeth's castle.
If it were done, and 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here. That we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should against his murderer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked newborn babe striding the blast, or heaven's cherubim horsed upon the sightless couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, that tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other. How now? What news?
He hath almost supped. Why have you left the chamber?
Hath he asked for me?
No, not he has.
We will proceed no further in this business. He hath honoured me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon.
Was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Hath it slept since, and wakes it now to look so green and pale at what it did so freely? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act and valour as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteem'st the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wit upon I would, like the poor cat of the adage?
I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none.
What beast was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man. And to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time, nor place did Bennett hear, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milked me. And I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this.
If we should fail.
We fail. But screw your courage to the sticking place, and we'll not fail. When Duncan is asleep, whereto the rather shall his day's hard journey soundly invite him, his two chamberlains will I with wine and with salt so convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of leasing a limbeck only. When in swinish sleep their trenches lectures lies as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our quake quell?
Bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sleepy two of his own chamber, and used their very daggers that they have done?
Who dares receive it other, as we shall make our griefs and clamour roar upon his death?
I'm settled. and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 1. The court of Macbeth's castle. Enter Banquo and Fleance with a torch before him.
How goes the night, boy?
The moon is down. I have not heard the clock.
Well, she goes down at 12.
I take it 'tis later, sir.
Hold. Take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. The candles are all out. Take thee that too. The heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers, restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my sword! Who's there?
A friend.
What? Sir? Not yet at rest. The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your office. This diamond he greets your wife withal. By the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content.
Being unprepared, our will became the servant to the
Seek
fact
to
which
know no
else
more.
should free have wrought.
All's well. I dreamt last night of the 3 weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth.
Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time.
At your kindest leisure.
If you should cleave to my consent when 'tis, it shall make honour for you.
So I lose none in to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear, I shall be counselled.
Good repose the while.
Thanks, sir. The like to you.
Go, bid thy mistress, when my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not, fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind? A false creation proceeding from the heat of pressed brain? I see thee yet, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Oh, mine eyes are made fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There's no such thing! It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now, over the one-half world, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murder alarumed by his sentinel, the wolf whose howls is watched thus, with his stealthy pace, with Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design moves, like a ghost. Thou shore and firm-set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones prate of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. While I threat, he lives. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell.
Exit. Act 2, Scene 2. The court of Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth.
That which hath made them drunk hath made me bold. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark! Peace. It is the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman which gives the sternest good night. He is about it. The doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snores. I have drugged their posset. Let death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die.
Who's there? What ho?
Alack, I'm afraid they have awaked, and 'tis not done. The attempt and not the deed confunds us. Hark, I laid the daggers ready. He could not have missed them. Had he not resembled my father as I slept, I'd have done it. My husband.
I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise?
I heard the owl scream and the cricket cry. Did not you speak?
When?
Now.
As I descended.
Aye.
Hark! Who lies in the second chamber?
Donalbain.
This is a sorry sight.
A foolish thought to say a sorry sight.
As one did laugh in his sleep, and one cried murder, that they did wake each other. I stood and heard them, but they did say their prayers and address them, again to sleep.
Well, there were two lodged together.
One cried, God bless us, and amen. The other, they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen when they did say, God bless us.
Consider it not so deeply.
But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing, and amen stuck in my throat.
These deeds must not be thought after these ways, or it will make us mad.
Methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth
Sleep
does
no
murder
more,
sleep.
Macbeth
The innocent
does
sleep,
murder
sleep
sleep.
that knits up the ravel sleeve of care, the death of each day's life, sore labour's bath, balm of hurt minds, great nature's second course, nourisher in life's feast.
What do you mean?
Till it cried, sleep no more, to all the house glams hath murdered sleep, and therefore Cawdor shall sleep no more. Macbeth shall sleep no more.
Was it that thus cried? Why were they vain? You do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go, get some water, and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why did you bring the daggers from the place? They must lie there. Go, carry them, and smear the sleepy grooms with blood.
I'll go no more. I am afraid to think what I have done. Look on it again, I dare not.
Firm of purpose, give me the daggers. Sleeping and the dead are but his pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears the tainted devil. If he do bleed, I'll kill the faces of the groom withal, for it must seem their guilt.
Whence is that knocking? How is't with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Ah! They pluck out mine eyes! Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No. This my hand will rather the multitudinous seas incarnadine making the green one red.
My hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so white. I hear a knocking at the south gate. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this state. How easy is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Hark, more knocking. Get on your nightgown, lest occasion call us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts.
Know my deed, 'twere best not know myself. Wake Duncan with thy knocking! I would thou couldst.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 3. The Court of Macbeth's Castle. Enter a porter.
Now, if a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have all turned the key. No. The name of Beelzebub. Here's a farmer. Oh, hang on. No, go away. Technology. Hey. Hey there. Hey, Daniel, follow, I'm looking at you. Here's a farmer. Hey, that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Hey, Daniel Farrell, come in time. Hey, yeah, I'll get napkins and all that. You know, you're straight for it. No.
Who's there?
Oh, any other devil's name? This here is an equivocator, RJM. Aye, that's. Hang on, I've got another photo. Where is it? Ah!
You're committed treason enough, and treason is an amazing thing. I love treason. Absolutely. I commend treason. Treason is amazing. Who committed treason enough for God's sake and yet could not equivocate to heaven?
No. Here is an English tailor. Aye, you are Lindsay Butcham. Lindsay Butcham. Aye, come hither for stealing out of French. Come in, Tailor Lindsay. You may roast your goose. No, never quite. What? Hang on, but this place is too cold for hell. I'll devil it. Portrait no further. Son, way to the everlasting bond. Anon. I pray you remember the potter. Hey.
Was it so late, friend, ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late?
Faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock, drink and share is a great provoker of three things.
What three things does drink especially provoke?
Marry, sir, nose pointing, sleep, and urine. Literally, sir, it provokes, it unprovokes, it provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink is said to be an equivocator with lechery. Now, it makes him, it mars him, it sets him on, and it takes him off. It persuades him and then disheartens him. It makes him stand to and then not stand to. In conclusion, equivocates him in sleep, giving him the lie, leaves him.
I believe drink gave thee the lie last night.
Aye, sir. In the very throat of me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though he took upon my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him.
Is thy master stirring? Ah, our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes.
Good morrow, noble sir.
Good morrow, both.
Is the king stirring, worthy thane?
Not yet.
He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour.
I'll bring you to him.
I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet is one.
The labour we delight in physics pain. This is the door.
I'll make so bold to call, for 'tis my limited service.
Goes the king hence today?
He does. He did appoint so.
The night has been unruly. Where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and, as they say, lamentings heard in air, strange screams of death and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion and confused events new hatched to the woeful time. The obscure bird clamored the livelong night. Some say the earth was feverous and did shake.
'Twas a rough night.
My young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it.
Oh, horror, horror, horror! Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee.
What's the matter?
Now hath made his masterpiece. Most sacrilegious murder hath broke ope the Lord's anointed temple and stole thence the life of the building.
What is to say the life?
His Majesty?
Approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon.
What?
Do not bid me speak. See and speak yourselves. Awake! Awake! Ring the alarum bell! Murder and treason! Banquo! Awake! Take off this downy sleep, death, counterfeit the look on death itself. Up and see the great doom's image. Malcolm! Banquo! As from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell!
What's the business is such a hideous trumpet calls to parley the sleepers of the house? Speak! Speak!
Oh, gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. Oh, Banquo! Banquo, our royal masters murdered.
Oh, alas, what? In our house? Too cruel anywhere. Dear Duff, I prithee, contradict thyself and say it is not so.
Had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time. For from this instant there's nothing serious in mortality. All is but toys. Renown and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lees are left this vault to brag of.
What's amiss?
You are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the very fountain of your blood is stopped. This very source of it is stopped.
Your royal father's murdered.
Oh, by whom?
Those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done. Their hands and faces were all badged with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them.
Oh, yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them.
Why did you so?
Who can be wise? Amazed, temperate and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition of my violent love outrun the pauser of reason. Here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed stabs look like a breach in nature for ruin's wasteful entrance. There, the murderers. steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannily breached with gore. Who could refrain that had a heart to love, and in that heart courage to make his love known?
Help me, Hansel! Oh, look to the lady.
Why do we hold our tongues that most may claim this argument for ours?
What should be spoken here, where our fate hid in an auger hole may rush and seize us? Let away our tears are not yet brewed.
Nor our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion.
Look to the lady. And when we have our naked frailties hid, that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work. To know it further, fears and scruples shake us. In the hand of God I stand, and thence against this undivulged pretense I fight a treasonous malice.
And so do I.
Of all.
Oh,
Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet in the hall together.
Well contented.
What will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England.
To Ireland I, our separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's daggers in men's smiles, the near in blood, the nearer bloody.
This murderous shaft that's shot hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to avoid the aim. Therefore to horse, and let us not be dainty of leave-taking, but shift away. There's warrant in that theft which steals itself when there's no mercy left.
Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 4. Outside Macbeth's castle. Enter Ross with an old man.
10 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange, but this sore night hath trifle former knowings.
Good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act threatens his bloody stage. By the clock 'tis day, and yet dark night strangles the travelling lamp. Is it night's predominance or the day's shame that darkness does the face of earth entomb when living light should kiss it?
'Tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon, towering in her pride of place, was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed.
And Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, beauteous and swift, the minions of their race, turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make their war with mankind.
'Tis said they ate each other.
They did so, to the amazement of mine eyes that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macduff. How goes the world, sir, now?
Why, see you not?
Is it known who did this more than bloody deed?
Those that Macbeth hath slain.
Alas the day! What good could they pretend?
They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's 2 sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed.
Against nature still, thriftless ambition, that would reven up thine own lives' means, then 'tis the most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth.
He is already named, gone to Scone to be invested.
Where is Duncan's body?
Carried to Colmkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardians of their bones.
Will you to Scone?
No, cousin. I'll to Fife.
Well, I will thither.
Well, may you see things well done there. Adieu, lest our old road sit easier than our new.
Farewell, father.
God's benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad, and friends of foes.
Exeunt omnes. Act 3, Scene 1. Forres, the palace. Enter Macbeth as king, Lady Macbeth as queen, Lennox, Ross, Banquo, lords and attendants.
Thou hast it now. King, Cawdor, Glamis, all, as the weird women promised. And I fear thou playedst most foully for it. Yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings. If there come truth from them, as upon thee, Macbeth, their stitches shine, why, by the verities on thee made good, may they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, no more.
Here's our chief guest.
Aye, if he had been forgotten, it'd have been a gap in our great feast, and all things unbecoming.
Tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir, and I'll request your presence.
Let your highness command upon me, to the which my duties are with most indissoluble tie forever knit.
Ride you this afternoon?
Aye, my good lord.
Oh, we should else have desired your good advice, which still hath been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but we'll take tomorrow. Is't far you ride?
As far, my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Though not my horse the better, I will become a borrower of the night for a dark hour or twain.
Fail not our feast.
My lord, I will not.
We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention, but of that tomorrow, when we shall have cause of state craving us jointly. Hie you to horse adieu till you return at night. Goes Fleance with you?
Aye, my good lord. Our time does call upon us.
I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do commend you to their backs. Farewell. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night. To make society the sweeter welcome, we will keep ourselves till supper time alone. Well then, God be with you. Sirrah, a word with you. Attend those men our pleasure.
They are, my lord, without the palace gate.
Bring them before us. To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus, our fears in Banquo stick deep, and in his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind, he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valour to act in safety. There is none but he, whose being I do fear. And under him my Junius is rebuked, as it is said Mark Antony's was by Caesar. He chid the sisters, when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him. Then, prophet-like, they hailed him father to a line of kings. Upon my head they placed a fruitless crown, and put a barren sceptre in my grip, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding. If it be so, for Banquo's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan, have I murdered, put rancors in the vessel of my peace only for them. And mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man to make them kings, the seeds of Banquo kings. Rather than so, come, fate, into the list and champion me to the utterance. Who's there? Now, go to the door and stay there till we call. Was it not yesterday we spoke together?
It was, so please your highness.
Well then, now, have you considered of my speeches? Know that it was he, in the times past, which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were born in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion craze say, thus did Banquo.
You made it known to us.
I did so, and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared yours forever?
We are men, my liege.
Aye, in the catalogue ye go for men. As hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, choughs, water rugs and demi-wolves eclipsed all by the name of dogs, the valued file distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, everyone according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him enclosed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike, and so of men. Now, if you have a station in the file, not in the worst rank of manhood, say it, and I will put that business in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, grapples you to the heart and love of us, who were our health but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect.
I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world hath so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world.
And I another, so weary with disasters, tugged with fortune, that I would set my life on any chance to mend it or be rid on.
Both of you know Banquo was your enemy.
True,
my lord.
So is he mine. And in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrusts against my nest of life, and though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight and bid my will avouch it, yet I must not. With certain friends that are both mine and his, whose loves I may not drop, but wail his fall, who I myself struck down. And thence it is that I, to your assistance, do make love, masking the business from the common eye for sundry weighty reasons.
We shall, my lord, perform what you command us.
So our
Your
lives
spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time, the moment on't, for it must be done tonight. And something from the palace. Always thought that I require a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs nor botches in the work. Fleance, his son that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's, must embrace the fate of that dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon.
we are
We are
resolved,
resolved,
my lord.
I'll call upon you straight. Abide within. It is concluded. Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight.
Exit. Act 3, Scene 2. Forres, the palace. Enter Lady Macbeth and her waiting gentlewoman.
Is Banquo gone from court?
Aye, madam, but returns again tonight.
Say to the king I would attend his leisure for a few words.
Madam, I will.
Not had, all spent, were our desires got without content. To savour to be that which we destroy, then by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. I know, my lord, why do you keep alone? Sorrows, fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died, with them they think on. Things without all remedy should be without regard. What's done is done.
We have scorched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her firmer tooth. But Let the frame of things disjoint. Both the worlds suffer ere we will eat our meal in fear and sleep in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, and we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever, he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst. No steel, no poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further.
Come on, gentle my lord. Sleek o'er your rugged looks, be bright and jovial amongst your guests tonight.
So shall I love, and so I pray be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo, present him eminence both with eye and tongue, and safe the while that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces fists to our hearts, disguising what they are.
You must leave this.
Oh, full of scorpions is my mind, dear wife. Thou knowest that Banquo in his flayance lives.
But in them nature's copies not etern.
There's comfort yet. They are assailable. Then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his cloistered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful note.
What's to be done?
Be innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed. Come, sealing night, scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with thy bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great bond which keeps me pale. Light thickens, and the crow makes wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvelst at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 3. Forest, a park near the palace. Enter 3 murderers.
He needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just.
And stand with us. Say, now spurs the later traveller apace, stays kindly in, and near approaches the subject of our watch.
Hark! I hear horses.
Give us some light there, ho!
And 'tis he. The rest that are within the note of expectation already are in court.
His horses go about.
Almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do. From hence to the palace gate, make it their walk. Is he?
And put.
It'll be rain tonight.
Let us come down.
Revenge! Oh,
Who did strike out the light?
Was it not the way?
There's but one down, one. The sun is fled.
We have lost best half of our affair.
Well, let's away and say how much is done.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 4. A room of state in the palace. Enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords, and attendants.
Your own degrees! Sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome.
Thanks to your Lord Majesty.
Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state, but in best time we will require her welcome.
Pronounce it for me, sir. To all our friends, for my heart speaks, they are welcome.
See, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. Both sides are even. Here, I'll sit in the midst. Be large in mirth. Anon, we'll drink a measure, the table round. There's blood upon thy face.
Was Banquo's then?
'Tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched?
My lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him.
Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil.
Most royal sir, Fleance is gay.
Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air, but now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe.
Ay, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes on his head, the least a death to me.
Thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies. The worm that's fled hath nature that in time will venom breed, no teeth for the present. Get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again.
My royal lord, you do not give the cheer. The feast is sold that is not often vouch, whilst 'tis a making, 'tis given with welcome. To feed were best at home. From thence the sauce to meat is ceremony. Meeting were bare without it.
Sweet remembrancer. Now, good digestion, weight on appetite, and health on both.
May it please your highness sit?
Here had we now our country's honour roofed, were the grated person of our Banquo present, whom may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance.
His absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Pleasest your highness to grace us with your royal company?
The table's full.
Here is a place reserved, sir.
Where?
Here, your highness. What is it that moves your lordship?
Which of you have done this?
Done what, my good lord?
Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me.
Gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well.
Sit, worthy friends. My lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought, he will be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. Are you a man?
Aye, and a bed bold one that dare look on that which might have pulled the devil.
Oh, upper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and stars imposted to true fear would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all is done, you look but on a stool.
You see there? Behold, look! No! How say you? Aye, what care I? If thou canst not speak too. If charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back, our monuments shall be the moors of Christ.
What quite unmanned in folly.
If I stand here, I saw him.
Fly for shame.
Blood hath been shed ere now in the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle wheel eye. And since too murders have been performed too terrible for the ear, the time has been that when the brains were out, the man would die, and there an end. But now they rise again, with 20 mortal murders on their crowns, and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is.
My worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you.
I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, love and health to all, then I'll sit down. Give me some wine, fill full. I drink to the general joy of a whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all, and him we thirst, and all to all.
Our duties and the pledge.
Avaunt, and quit my sight! Let the earth hide thee!
Whoa!
Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes which thou dost glare with.
These good peers but as a thing of custom. 'Tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time.
What man dare? I dare. Approach thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Hyrcan tiger. Take any shape but that, and my firm nerves shall never tremble or be alive again. And dare me to the desert with my sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me, the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, with real mockery. Hence. Being gone, I am a man again. Pray you sit still!
You have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with the most admired disorder.
Such things be, and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder. You make me strange, even to the disposition that I owe, when now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear.
What sights, my lord?
I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once.
Good night, and better health attend his majesty.
Kind good night to all.
It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move, and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and choffs and rooks brought forth the secret'st man of blood. What is the night?
Almost at odds with morning. Which is which?
How sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding?
Did you send to him, sir?
I hear it by the way, but I will send. There's not a one of them but in his house I keep a servant feed. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters. More shall they speak, for now I am bent to know by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood, stepped in so far that, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as go. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted ere they may be scanned.
You lack the seasons of all natures. Sleep.
Come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed.
Exeunt.
Groundlings, that is your interval. You now have a few minutes to refresh your drinks, refresh yourselves, and prepare for the second half. If you have any questions for us, please do let us know in the chat. Otherwise, please be ready for the second half to begin in a few minutes' time. So first of all, just to remind you to like and subscribe to the video, to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Post your reactions using the hashtag #ShowMustGoOnline and tag us at TSMG Online Live on Twitter Twitter and at The Show Must Go Online on Instagram and Facebook. We love to hear from you. Particularly today, we've had some fantastic dress up and food and drink themed bits and pieces out on socials for you. So we'd love to see any pics from you that are for those of you who've joined in with that. So I'm going to invite now our lovely Ruth Page to join me. Hello, Ruth.
Hello.
Beautifully showing our dress up for this week.
We're getting the spirit of things, haven't we?
Absolutely. Spirit is definitely the word.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Do you have a Patreon update for us, Ruth?
I do. As always, a huge thank you to all of our patrons and your continued support of the series. It honestly means the world to each and every one of us. So thank you so much for your generosity. We have a couple of names to shout out this week who have joined our Patreon family. So a big thank you and welcome to Lalit S and Elizabeth H. And a huge shout out to Shari S for increasing their monthly pledge. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's never too late to join the fun. And if you're new to The Show Must Go Online, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone involved in this project works entirely voluntary, and unfortunately, all of us have lost work and face an uncertain future as a result of the pandemic. So if you would like to tip your actors and creatives, then head on over to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/The Show Must Go Online. The link is in the description box, so it's super easy to get there. You can give as little or as much as you like per month, or you can do a one-off donation, which is appreciated just as much. And in return, you can get access to exclusive TSMGO content that you will not find anywhere else. We've got vlogs, interviews, prop tutorials, the list is endless. So come and join us over on the Patreon for even more TSMGO joy. And if you would like to sport your very own TSMGO t-shirt or mug or face mask or bag, we have an entire Redbubble shop full of merchandise that you can get your hands on, including prints of amazing artwork inspired by the series and created by the incredibly talented Carly Sponzo. Just like the Patreon, all the profits are put into our opt-in hardship fund, which directly supports the actors and the creatives, as well as Carly herself. All you need to do is head to the description box below for the link, which will take you directly to the Redbubble shop. And while you're down there, give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ruth. Yes, lots of exciting ways for you to join in and support the project. So we've got a few minutes before we start back on the second half. So I'd love to welcome back Tanvi and Kavita. If you are there, hello.
Hello.
Hi. So everyone, Tanvi will be a familiar face to many of you, is one of our amazing alumni actors. You'll most recently have seen her in Time of Athens and amongst many other shows, Hamlet and Henry IV Part 2 as well. So Tanvi, I believe you've got some questions for lovely Kavita.
Yes, I do. Well, thank you so much for rejoining us again, Kavita.
Absolutely.
As we know, today's society is starting to be more aware of gender roles. So in what way do you think Macbeth leans into or toys with these gender roles?
Well, I mean, one of the things I've been so enjoying watching the first half of this production is seeing how little the play text actually changes, even when all of the roles are, when there are no men in the play. Yeah. It still works. It's completely, it makes complete sense. It is, it's so good. And as far as gender roles more generally, I mean, when this play was written, it's generally agreed that this play was actually written after the death of Elizabeth I. It was written for James I. So England was already going through this tremendous change from a queen who had been reigning for, oh goodness, 40 years before, or 40 years or so, more than 40 years before she died. And then all of a sudden this man becomes king. Not only is he a man, he is Queen Elizabeth's cousin, but he was also the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, Mary Stuart, who Elizabeth had ordered executed in 1588 or 1587. So there was all of this uncertainty about James, all of this concern of what kind of a king was he going to be, especially because his mother was Catholic, his grandmother was French. There were so many unanswered questions, and I think Macbeth really encapsulates a lot of this uncertainty. And a lot of that uncertainty ends up coming out in weirdly gendered ways. The witches, for instance, when we first encounter them, Banquo talks about them having beards. And he literally says, I would assume that you were women, except that you have beards. So do we know who the witches are? Do we know if the witches are men, are women, are neither, are both? Who knows? And of course, Lady Macbeth is this fabulous character, yes, who demands, and I love how it was done in this production with the fan and everything, just who stops and says, you know, unsex me here, make me, fill me to the brim with direst cruelty. It's just, and the gendering of cruelty, I think, is also very interesting, because Lady Macbeth demands that she be transformed into a man to make her more cruel, not less, and thus to perhaps fit in better with the larger atmosphere of the play. So it's been great to just to see how things change, and how much doesn't change, the way that this casting has worked out.
Yeah, it's really, I completely agree with you with what you say. It's so refreshing to see how well it's worked and how it can be done loads more times again. So off the back of that, do you think there's anything extra that has been brought about by this all-female and non-binary production?
Well, I think first of all, as what we've been talking about before, that it makes the text, it doesn't go against the text, it doesn't contradict the text at all. And in some really interesting ways, it lays bare just how much cruelty is associated with toxic masculinity in this play. So much toxic masculinity. It's everywhere. The way that all of these men are behaving so poorly. And I think that this production really lays that out very starkly. How it's not just Macbeth and Lady Macbeth who are acting out of line. It's everybody. They're all supporting him. They're all, like, even the people who are against him are only kind of, they're not doing a very good job, at least not at this point. And really, until the very end, it's almost as though Macbeth destroys himself rather than being destroyed by Malcolm and Donalbain. It's I think that it offers a kind of a new emphasis on the toxic masculinity at the heart of this play, that I think hasn't necessarily been discussed a great deal. People talk a lot about Lady Macbeth. People talk a lot about sort of the weird ambiguity and gendering of the way that she's portrayed. But I don't know how much people have discussed how dangerous and nasty masculinity becomes in this play. And I like how this production really lays that out.
Yes, through the same sex or female cast. Yes, I also completely see that too. Yeah, definitely. So one last question. What are you most looking forward to in the second half?
Oh, I mean, there are several things. I mean, Lady Macbeth's final scene is just so good. Yeah. And especially after that first appearance of her with the blood on her hands, I am very much looking forward to that. And I'm also looking forward to that final twist with Macduff at the end, because that line is so great. And it just turns everything on its head, and you can watch Macbeth just disintegrate as soon as he hears it. So I am very much looking forward to those two bits in particular, but really to the entire thing.
It's a real plot twist at the end, isn't it?
Yeah. Even Tolkien thought so. He went and made it literal in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, the show is about to begin again. Thank you so much for all your answers. And enjoy the second half, guys.
Actually, we've got a little bit more time, everyone. Fortunately, so I've got actually an extra question, Kavita, which I wanted to ask was something I've always been fascinated by in this play is the kind of balance of the supernatural intervention versus the sort of autonomy of the Macbeth. So I'd love to get your thoughts on kind of where you feel that balance lies.
Oh, goodness. Well, in this, I think it varies from production to production. And that's one of the great things about Macbeth, is that it's so ambiguously laid out that it's not entirely clear how much Macbeth is acting from sort of something that's internal, or how much Macbeth is just responding to the witches. In this production, the way that the witches are whispering, the way that their voices are just echoing all around the Macbeths, I think it's very clear that at least a good part of it is the witches sort of nudging Macbeth forward, and this sense that, at least at the very beginning, he doesn't want to do this. This is not what Macbeth wants. But eventually becomes won over by it between the witches and Lady Macbeth. And then it unravels them both just bit by bit over the course of the rest of the play. And I love how the witches' voices are kind of getting louder in the background as well. And I think that's really playing it up. But again, I think a lot of the political problems in the play come from the people around Macbeth allowing this to happen. And I'm very curious to see how that balances out for the rest of the production.
Yes, absolutely. So, Tabby, did you have another question?
Yes. So, you've written on Game of Thrones. Do you see any parallels between Shakespeare and Macbeth and that landmark series?
Yes, there are loads loads of them. Too many for me to cover in a couple of minutes. But for Macbeth in particular, the character who reminds me the most of Macbeth is probably Stannis, King Stannis Baratheon, who claimed the throne in the second season, and who ended up doing all kinds of absolutely atrocious things. And by the end of it, he was just this battered husk of a man who ended up getting killed in battle. So I think he's the character who feels the most Macbeth-ish to me. And because he really is the one who takes a lot of that guilt, a lot of that remorse, a lot of that, just those dark emotions, and really internalizes them until they destroy him from within.
Awesome, I love that. I'm sure there's a lot of fans watching in our groundlings who are both Game of Thrones fans and Shakespeare, so it's a lovely crossover. I just wanted to bring back on our wonderful Master of Props and Stage Manager and Associate Director, Emily Ingram. If you're right, Emily. Hello. So just wondered if you could talk to us a little bit about the production side of things on this one, because it's been rather hefty, as you might have noticed.
And I think, yeah, one of the things that I suspect you're probably wanting me to highlight is the wonderful costume pieces that our cast have created. And I really want to highlight the work that the witches have done with the concepts that Rob and I developed with a little bit of help from our sound designer, Adam, who's quite an expert on Celtic mythology and Celtic history. And one of the things we did with the witches, wave if I'm going on a complete tangent here because I'm filibustering a little bit, Sarah. One of the things we really worked on with the witches is the idea of the Norn from Viking mythology and also the Morrigan from Celtic mythology. We wanted to create these very strong, powerful witches, not these sort of crones on the margins of society. And one of the things we did with their costumes, giving them headdresses that represented the sort of fortune-telling side of the Norn. And I'm sure the witches will be able to tell you a little bit more about that, Sarah, at the end, at Q&A.
Absolutely, yes. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions about all of the different elements in this production. Well, thank you so much, Tanvi. And again, thank you so much, Kavita, both for your intro and your fascinating chat in uniform. So if you would like to retire backstage, and groundlings, if you would like to get ready, we are now about to start the second half of Macbeth.
Act 3, Scene 5. Forres, the palace. Enter Lennox and another lord.
My former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret farther. Only, I say, things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth. Marry, he was dead. And the right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if't please you, Fleance killed, for Fleance fled. Men must not walk too late. Who cannot want the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father? Damned fact! How it did grieve Macbeth! Did he not, straight in pious rage, the two delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep? Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely, too. For 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the men deny it. So that, I say, he has borne all things well. And I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as an't please heaven he shall not, they should find what 'twere to kill a father. So should Fleance. But peace. For from broad words, and 'cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast, I hear Macduff lives in disgrace. Sir, can you tell me where he bestows himself?
For the son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due birth, of the most pious Edward, with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his highest respect, that the Macduff is gone to pray to the holy king, upon his aid to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that by the help of these, and with him above to rectify the work, that we may again give our tables meat, sleep our nights, free from feasts and bloody knives, do faithful homage and receive honours, all which we pine for now. And this report hath so exasperate the king that prepares for some attempt of war.
Sent he to Macduff?
He did, and with an absolute, sir, not I. And the county mastership turns me his back, and hums as to who should say, you rule the time that clogs me with his answer.
And that well might advise him to a caution to hold what distance his wisdom can provide. Some holy angel fly to the court of England and unfold his message ere he come, that a swift blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed.
I'll send my prayers with him.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 1, a cavern. Enter the three witches.
Thrice the blinded cat hath mewed.
Thrice at once the hedge big wide.
Happier cries, time, 'tis time. Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned endless road. Toad that under cold stone, days and nights has 31, belted venom sleeping gut, boiled out burst in the charming pot.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of meat and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blind bird's skin, lizard's leg and howl's for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble.
Double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Gale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, moor and gulf, of the raven, salt sea shark, root of hemlock diggedeth dark, finger of birth, strangled babe, didst delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab, add thereto a tiger's children, for the ingredients of our cauldron.
Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Then the charm is firm and good by the of my thumbs. Something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks.
How now, you secret black and midnight hags? What is you do?
A deed without a name.
I conjure you, by that which you profess, howe'er you come to know it. Answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's Germans tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you.
Speak!
Demand. Will answer.
Say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters.
Call him. Let me see him.
Pouring sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow, grease that sweating from the murderer's gibbet throw into the flame. Come high or low, thyself and office deftly show.
Tell me, thou unknown power.
He knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not.
Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff. Beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me. Enough.
Whate'er thou art, for thy good caution, thanks. Thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more.
He will not be commanded. Here is another more potent than the first.
Macbeth! Macbeth! Macbeth!
Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee.
Be bloody, bold, and resolute. Laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth.
Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee? But yet, I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. What is this that rises like the issue of a king, and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty?
Listen, but speak not to it.
Be lion-mettled, proud and take no care, who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Birnam Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him.
That will never be! Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earthbound root? Sweet moments, good, rebellious dead, rise never to the wood of Birnam rise, and our high-placed Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom?
Seek to know no more.
I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sinks that cauldron? And what noise is this?
Show!
No!
Yo! Show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come like shadows, so depart.
Thou art too like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown doth sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair. Thou other gold-bound brow is like the first, the third is like the former. Filthy hags! Why do you show me this? Stark eyes. What? Will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Another yet, a 7th. I'll see no more! Yet the 8th appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more, and some I see that twofold bulls and treble sceptres carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true. The blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me and points at them for his. What? Is this so?
Aye, sir, all this is so. But why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Some
sisters, cheery up his spirit, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay. Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Approach, without there.
What's your grace's will?
Saw you the weird sisters?
No, my lord.
Came they not by you?
No, indeed, my lord.
Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was't came by?
'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word Macduff is fled to England.
Fled to England?
Aye, my good lord.
Time. Thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is o'ertook unless the deed go with it. From this moment, the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with act, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool, but no more sight. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 2. Fife, Macduff's castle. Enter Macduff's wife, her son, and Ross.
What had he done to make him fly the land?
You must have patience, madame.
He had none. His flight was madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors.
You know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear.
Wisdom! To leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not. He wants the natural touch, for the poor wren, the most diminutive of birds, will fight her young ones in the nest against the owl. All is the fear, and nothing is the love. As little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against all reason.
My dearest coz, I pray you school yourself. But for your husband he is noble, wise, judicious, and knows what's best, that fits to the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are traitors and do not know ourselves, when we hold rumours from what we fear, yet know not what we fear, but float up upon a wild and violent sea, each way and none. I take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Things at worst will cease, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessings upon you.
Fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless.
I'm so much a fool should I stay longer. It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once.
Sirrah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live?
As birds do, mother.
What, with worms and flies?
With what I get, I mean, and so do they.
Poor bird, thou'dst never fear the net nor line, the pitfall nor the gin.
Why should I, mother? Poor birds they're not set for. My father's not dead for all you're saying.
Yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father?
Nay, how will you do for a husband?
Why, I can buy me 20 at any market.
Then you'll buy him to sell again.
Thou speakst with all thy wit, and yet, i' faith, with wit enough for thee.
Was my father a traitor, mother?
Aye, that he was.
What is a traitor?
Why, one that swears and lies.
And be all traitors that do so?
Every one that does so is a traitor, and must be hanged.
And must they all be hanged that swear and lie?
Every one.
Who must hang them?
Why, the honest men.
Then the liars and swearers are fools. For there are liars and swearers enough to beat the honest men and hang up them.
Now God help thee, poor monkey. But how wilt thou do for a father?
If he were dead, you'd weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father.
Oh, prattler, how thou talkst.
Bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Whither should I fly? I've done no harm, but I remember now I'm in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable and to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly... What are these faces?
Where is your husband?
I hope in no place so unsanctified where such as thou mayst find him.
He's a traitor.
Thou list, thou shagged villain.
What, you egg?
Young cry of treachery.
He has killed me, mother.
Exeunt. Act 4, Scene 3. England before the King's Palace. Enter Malcolm and Macduff.
Let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep our sad bosoms empty.
Let us rather hold fast the mortal sword, and like good men bestride our downfall birthdom. Each new morn, new widows howl, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face, that it resounds as if it felt with Scotland, and yelled out like syllable of dollar.
What I believe, I'll wail. What no, believe. And what I can redress, as I shall find the time to friend, I will. What you spoke, it may be so, perchance. This tyrant, whose sole name blisters our tongues, was once thought honest.
His Majesty went
You look as well.
I have seen her.
He had not touched you yet. I am young, but something you may discern of him through me, and wisdom to offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god.
I am not treacherous.
But Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in an imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. That which you are, my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so.
I have lost my hopes.
Yet perchance even there where I did find my doubts. Why in that rawness left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love without leave-taking. I pray you, let not my jealousies be your dishonours, but mine own safeties. You may be rightly just, whatever I shall think.
Bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basest shore, for goodness dare not check thee. Wear thou thy wrongs, the title is afeard. Fare thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou think'st for the whole space that's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich East to boot.
Be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer, and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed.
What should he be?
It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice, so grafted that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms.
Not in the legions of horrid hell can come a devil more damned in evils to top Macbeth.
I grant him bloody, luxurious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, smacking of every sin that has a name, but there's no bottom, none in my voluptuousness. Your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust. and my desire all continent impediments would o'erbear that did oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such a one to reign.
Boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been the untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. But fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasures in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold. The time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be that vulture in you to devour so many as will to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined.
With this, there grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that were I king, I should cut off nobles for their lands, desire his jewels, and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth.
This avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear. Scotland hath foisons to fill up your will of your mere own. All these are portable, with other graces weighed.
But I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude, I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting it many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth.
Oh, Scotland, Scotland!
If such a one be fit to govern, speak, I am as I have spoken.
Fit to govern? No, not fit to live! Oh, nation miserable! With an untitled tyrant, bloody sceptred, when shalt thou see thy wholesome days again, since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accused and does blaspheme his breed? Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee oftener upon her knees than on her feet died every day she lived. Fare thee well. These evils thou repeat'st upon thyself have banished me from Scotland. Oh, my breast, thy hopes end here.
Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth and honour. Devilish Macbeth, by many of these trains, hath sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But God above, deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction and unspeak mine own detraction. Here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself for strangers to my nature. I am yet unknown to woman. Never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own. At no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this, upon myself. What I am truly is thine, and my poor country's to command. Whither indeed, with old Seaward, with 10,000 warlike men already at a point was setting forth. Now we'll together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent?
Such welcome and unwelcome things at once. 'Tis hard to reconcile.
Well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you?
Aye, sir. There are a crew of wretched souls that stay his cure. Their malady convinces the great assay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand, they presently amend.
Thank you, doctor.
What's the disease he means?
'Tis called the evil, a most miraculous work in this good king, which often since my here remain in England I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven himself best knows, but strangely visited people, all swollen and ulcerous, pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken, to the succeeding royalty he leaves the healing benediction. With this strange virtue he hath a heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace.
Ah, see who comes here.
My countryman, yet I know him not.
My ever gentle cousin, welcome hither.
I know him now. Good God, betimes remove the means that make us strangers.
Sir, amen.
Stand Scotland where it did?
Alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself. It cannot be called our mother, but our grave, where nothing but who knows nothing is once seen to smile, where sighs and groans and shrieks that rent the air are made, not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there, scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps, dying or ere they sicken.
Oh, relation too nice and yet too true.
What's the newest grief?
That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute seems a new one.
How does my wife?
Why, well.
And all my children?
Well, too.
The tyrant has not battered at their peace.
No, they were well at peace when I did leave them.
Be not a miser of your speech, how goes it?
When I came hither to transport the tidings, which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witness the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of your help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldiers, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses.
Their comfort, we are coming thither. Gracious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men. An older and better soldier none than Christendom gives out.
Would I could answer thus, comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air where hearing should not latch them.
What concern they? The general cause? Or is it a fee grief due to some single breast?
No mind that's honest, but in it shares some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone.
If it be mine, quickly, let me have it.
Let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that yet ever they heard.
Oh, I guess I...
Your castle is surprised, your wife and babe savagely slaughtered, to relate the manner whereon the quarry of these murders dare to add to the death of you.
Merciful heaven. Give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak whispers the o'erfraught heart and bids it break.
My children too.
Wife, children, servants, all that could be found.
And I must be from thence, my wife killed too.
I have said.
Be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief.
He has no children. Oh, my pretty ones too. Did you say all? Oh, Hellkite, all. What, all my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop?
Dispute it like a man.
I shall do so. But I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things were that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? Sinful Macduff, they were all struck for thee, not that I am not for their own demerits, but for mine. Fell slaughter on their souls. Heaven rest them now.
Be this the whetstone of your sword. Let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart, enrage it.
Ah, I could play the woman with mine eyes and bracket with my tongue. But, gentle heavens, cut short all intermission, front to front, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword length, set him, if he scape, heaven forgive him too.
This tune goes manly. Come, go we before the king. Our power is ready, our lack is nothing but our leave. Macbeth is ripe for shaking. and the powers above put on their instruments. Receive what cheer you may. The night is long that never finds the day.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 1. Dunsinane, an anteroom in the castle. Enter a doctor of physic and a waiting gentlewoman.
I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked?
Since His Majesty went into the field, I have seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon't, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed. Yet all this while in a most fast sleep.
A great perturbation in nature, to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching. In this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances, what at any time have you heard her say?
That, sir, which I will not report after her.
You may to me, and 'tis most meet you should.
Neither to you nor anyone, having no witness to confirm my speech. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life fast asleep. Observe her, stand close.
How came she by that light?
Why, it stood by her. She has light by her continually. 'Tis her command.
You see her eyes are open.
Aye, but their sense are shut.
What is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands.
It is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this 1/4 of an hour.
Yet here's a spot.
Hark, she speaks. I will set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly.
Out, damn spot, out, I say. 1, 2. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky. Fie, my lord, fie, a soldier and afeard. What need we fear when none can call our power to account? Yet who would have thought the old man had so much blood in him?
Mark that.
Nathaniel Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more of that, my lord. No more. No more. Oh, with your starting.
Go to. You have known what you should not.
He has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known.
Is the smell of blood still? Oh, the perfumes of Arabia will ne'er sweeten his little hand.
What sighs there? The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of my whole body.
Well.
Pray God it be, sir.
This disease is beyond my practice. Yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on his grave.
Even so.
To bed. Bed. There's a knocking at the gate. Come. Come. Give me your hand. What's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed.
Will she go now to bed?
Directly.
Foul whisperings are abroad. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles. Infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More need she the divine than the physician. God forgive us all. Look after her. Remove from her the means of all annoyance and still keep eyes upon her. So good night. To my mind she has mated and amazed my sight. I think, but dare not speak.
Good night, good doctor.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 2, the country near Dunsinane. Enter Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, and soldiers.
English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenges burn in them, for their dear causes would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man.
Near Burn Wood they're coming. We shall meet them there. That way they're coming.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
What does the tyrant?
Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule.
Oh, does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands? Now minutely revolts, upbraid, his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now he does feel his title hang loose about him like a giant's rope upon a dwarfish thief.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
Well, march we on to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. Within we the medicine of the sickly wheel, and with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us.
Or so much as it needs to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds. Make we our march towards Burnham.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 3, Dunsinane, a room in the castle. Enter Macbeth, the doctor, and attendants.
Bring me no more reports. Let them fly all. Till Burnham Wood removed to Dunsinane, I cannot taint with fear. What's the boy Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequences have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, no man that's born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly, false stains, and mingle with the English abattoirs. Mind, I sway by, and the heart I bear shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear. The devil damn thee back, thou cream-faced loon. Where gotst thou that goose look?
There is 10,000...
Yes, villain!
Soldiers, sir!
Go prick thy face, and overread thy fear, thou lily-livered boy. What soldiers, Patch? Death of thy soul. Those linen cheeks of thine are counsellors to fear. What soldiers, Wayface?
The English force, so please you.
Take thy face hence! Oh, Satan! I am sick at heart when I behold Satan, I say! This push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age as honour, love, obedience, troops of friends I must not look to have, but in their stead curses, not loud, but deep, mouth honour, breath, which the poor heart would fain deny and dare not. Satan!
What's your gracious pleasure?
What news more?
All is confirmed, my lord, which was reported.
I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armour.
It is not needed yet.
I'll put it on. Send out more horses. Scour the country round. Hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armour. How does your patient, doctor?
Not so sick, my lord, as she is troubled with thick-coming fancies that keep her from her rest.
Cure her of that. Didst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Huh? Pluck from the memory of rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote cleanse the stuffed bosom of that perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart.
Wherein the patient must minister to himself.
Physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on! Give me my staff! Satan, send out! Doctor, the veins fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch! If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find her disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health, I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off my face! What rhubarb, huh? Cyme, or what purgative drug would scour these English hence? Hear'st thou of them?
Aye, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something.
Bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and bane till Burnham Forest come to Dunsinane.
Were I from Dunsinane away and clear, profit again should hardly draw me here.
Exit. Act 5, Scene 4. Country near Burnham Wood. Enter Malcolm, Siward, Macduff, Siward's son, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, Ross, and soldiers marching.
Cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that Chambers will be safe.
We doubt it nothing.
What wood is this before us?
The wood of Burnham.
Let every soldier hew him down a bough and bear it before him. Thereby shall we shadow the numbers of our host and make discovery err in report of us.
It shall be done!
No other but that the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our setting down before it.
This is main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the revolt, and none serve with him but constrained things, whose hearts are absent too.
Let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership.
The time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have, and what we owe. Thoughts speculative their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, towards which advance the war!
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 5. Dunsinane, within the castle. Enter Macbeth, Satan, and soldiers.
Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come! Our castle strength will laugh a siege to scorn here. Let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise?
It is the cry of women, my good lord.
I have almost forgot the taste of fears. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fell of hair would a delusional treatise rouse and stir as life were in't. I have supped full with horrors. Dionysus, once familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. Wherefore was that cry?
The queen, my lord, is dead.
She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Thy comes to use thy tongue, thy story quickly.
Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do't.
Well, say it, sir.
As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move. Let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile, may you see it coming. I say a moving grove.
If thou speakest false, upon the next tree shall thou hang alive till famine cling thee. Thy speech be sooth, I cannot, if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. Fear not, till Burnham Wood does come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes towards Dunsinane. And out! If this which he avouches does appear, there is nor flying hence, nor tarrying here. I begin to be weary of the sun, and wish the estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell! Blow, wind! Come wreck! At least we'll die with harness on our back.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 6. Dunsinane before the castle. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Macduff and their army with bows.
Now, near enough, your leafy screams throw down and show like those you are. You, worthy uncle, shall with my cousin, right noble son, lead our first battle. Worthy Macduff and we shall take upon what else remains to do according to our order.
Fare you well. Do we but find the tyrant's power tonight? Let us be beaten if we cannot fight.
Make all our trumpets speak. Give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death!
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 7. A part of the field. Enter Macbeth.
They have tied me to a stake. I cannot fly, but bear-like I must fight the cause. What's he that was not born of woman? Such one am I to fear, or none.
What's thy name?
Thou be afraid to hear it.
No, though thou callest thyself an hotter name than any is in hell.
My name's Macbeth.
The devil himself could not pronounce a name more hateful to mine ear.
No, nor more fearful.
Thou least abhorred tyrant, with my sword I'll prove the lie thou speak.
Thou wast born of woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by a man that's of a woman born.
That way the noise is. Tyrant, show thy face! If thou beest slain, and with no stroke of mine, my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched kerns, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbattered edge I sheathe again undeeded. Oh, there thou shouldst be! By this great clatter one of greatest note seems bruited. Let me find him fortune, and more I beg not.
This way, my lord. The castle's gently rendered. The tyrant's people on both sides do fight. The noble thanes do bravely in the war. The day itself professes yours, and little is to do.
We've met with foes that strike beside us.
Enter, sir, the castle.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 8. Another part of the field. Enter Macbeth.
Why should I play the Roman fool and die of mine own sword, whilst I see lives the gashes do better upon them?
Turn! Hellhound, turn!
Of all men else, I have avoided thee. But get thee back. My soul is too much charged with blood of thine already.
I have no words. My voice is in my sword. Thou bloodier villain than terms can give thee out!
shall the entrenchant air with thy keen sword impress, as make me bleed. Let thy blade fall on vulnerable crests. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born.
Spare thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped!
Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believed, that palter with us in a double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear, and break it to our hope. I'll not fight with thee.
Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze of the time. We'll have thee, as our rarer monsters are, painted upon a pole, and under it, here may you see the tyrant.
I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rabble's curse. Though Burnham would do come to Dunsinane, and thou opposed, being of no woman born, yet I will try the last. Before my body, I throw my warlike shield. Lay on, Macduff, and damned be him that first cries, "Hold!"
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 9. Dunsinane, within Macbeth's castle. Enter Malcolm, Seward, Ross, thanes, and soldiers.
And with the friends we miss, we're safe arrived.
Some must go off, and yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought.
Macduff is missing, and your noble son.
Your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died.
Then he is dead?
Aye, and brought off the field. Your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it hath no end.
Had he his hurts before?
Aye, on the front.
Why then, God's soldier be he. Has I as many sons as I have hairs, I would not wish them to a fairer death. And so his knell is knolled.
Worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him.
He's worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort.
Hail, King, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. With thy kingdom's pearl that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail, King of Scotland!
Hail, King of Scotland!
Shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves and make us even with you. My thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be earls, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour named. What's more to do, which would be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snares of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen, who, as 'tis thought, by self and violent hands took off her life. This, and what needful else that calls upon us, by the grace of grace, we will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at Scone.
Congratulations, one and all. Get out here. Come on, take a bow. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. What a show. Absolutely incredible. Those watching around the world at home, thank you for joining us. I would now like to introduce you to the fabulous casting crew, starting this week with our brilliant director, Rob Miles.
Hi, I'm Rob Miles. I'm an actor, writer and director and creator of the Shakespeare Deck based in Glasgow, Scotland.
Our associate director, stage manager and master of props, Emily Ingram.
Hi, my name's Emily. I'm a writer, director and stage manager based in the UK.
Our associate producer, Matthew Rhodes.
Hi, I'm Matthew. I'm an emerging theatre artist on unceded Musqueam, Squamish and Tsleil-Waututh territory, also called Vancouver, Canada.
On music and sound, it's Adam Gibson.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm a sound designer and composer based in London.
And with thanks to Janet Lawson for fight direction, as well as stunt doubling bravely with Tony Benedetti Martin, who you may remember as the goth nurse in Titus Andronicus in tonight's climactic final fight.
Hello, I'm Janet Lawson. I'm a stage combat teacher and a fight director living in Glasgow in Scotland.
And our cast for this evening, as Macbeth, Maryam Grace.
Hi, I'm Maryam Grace, and I'm a professional actor based in London.
As Lady Macbeth, Katrina Allen.
Hi, I'm Katrina Allen. I'm a professional actor based between Glasgow and London.
As Malcolm, Doireann May White.
Hi, I'm Doireann May White. I'm a professional actor based in London.
As Macduff, Mairin Lee.
Hi, I'm Mairin Lee, and I'm an actor based in New York City.
As Ross, Corinna Brown.
Hi, I'm Corinna. I'm an actor based in London.
As Banquo, Shalyn Bass-McFaul.
Hi, I'm Shalyn Bass-McFaul, and I am an actor based in Toronto.
As First Witch, Dana Demsko.
Hi, I'm Dana Demsko. I'm a classical actor in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
As Lennox, Heidi McIver.
Hi, I'm Heidi McIver. I am an actor, director, and teacher in North Carolina.
As King Duncan, Joanne Randle.
Hi, I'm Joanne Randle. I'm a professional actor. I live between rural Aberdeenshire and London.
As Second Witch, Rebecca Brinkart.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Brinkart. I'm a Maltese professional actress and I'm based in London.
As Third Witch, Jenny Liu.
Hi, I'm Jenny Liu. I am an actress and vocalist based in Melbourne.
As Lady Macduff, Elena Pavli.
I'm Elena Pavli. I'm an actor, writer, currently based in London.
And as our fabulous ensemble this evening, Grace MacDougall.
Hi, I'm Grace MacDougall. I'm an actor based in London.
Scarlett Archer.
Hi, I'm Scarlett Archer and I'm an actress from Sheffield.
Joy Tannen.
Hi, I'm Joy Tannen. I'm a Singaporean musical theatre performer and playwright currently based in London.
Alexandra Bennett.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Bennett. I'm an actor, dramaturg, and playwright, and I'm based in Chicago, Illinois.
Lee Heinz.
Hi, I'm Lee Heinz. I'm an actor, director, choreographer, and I'm based in New York City.
Joanna Clarke.
Hi, I'm Joanna Clarke. I'm an actor-singer based in London.
And Nat Kennedy.
Hi, I'm Nat Kennedy. I'm an actor and director based in London.
And as our fabulous swings for this evening, who would have stepped in bravely in the event of technical issues, who you will have seen as well in a couple of roles on stage this evening, which is fantastic. First up is Victoria Valliere.
Hello, I'm Victoria. I'm an actor, writer, and director from Canada, and I'm based between Canada and Scotland.
And Katharine Bubbear.
Hi, I'm Katharine Bubbear, and I'm a professional actor from London.
Congratulations, everyone. Absolutely fantastic. You really have put so much work in this week, and what a fantastic show. Absolutely full to the brim. So we're going to throw over now and see if we've got any questions coming through from our fabulous audience. Might take a little while to see if, with a round of applause.
The applause is flooding in. I'm just going to give you a summary of the applause emojis while people get their brains back in their heads in order to ask some questions, because they are still flooding in with the ovation. We've got lovely hand claps. We've got bunches of flowers being thrown at our virtual stage. We've got roses. We've got all kinds of lovely emojis flooding in thick and fast. And so those questions are a little bit slow in the uptake just because everyone has been enjoying your work so much for the whole evening. So first, I'd love to throw over to Janet, please. I'd love it if you could talk us through that incredible final confrontation, as well as the other violence that we saw in this play and what your process was in developing it.
Oh, wow. Okay. You've got the lovely for the big end fight. You've got the lovely sort of changes of thought and attitude of I entitled the various phrases, and the first one was "You killed my kids, you," and from Macduff, and Macbeth was going, "You talking to me?" And then the next one was Macduff getting the kicked out of him, and then the next one was Macbeth getting the kicked out of him, and then the last one was to the bitter end. And it was just trying to get that sense of who was winning, who was losing, the general sort of mental attitude of the time. And it was great fun to do it, and absolutely knackering. I don't often get to perform, and it was a lot of fun. God knows what my neighbours thought, because there was an awful lot of screaming and shouting. As for the other bit, was there was lots of little bits of inspiration for things. So young Seward was absolutely stolen from Seven Samurai. If you look at the first duel in Seven Samurai, there's that wonderful moment where they go, and then one guy just goes. Eh. So Akira Kurosawa, thank you very much for that one. Who else? Oh, there was the Banquo. I sort of just wanted this sort of underlighting of them all looking very, 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 very spooky. And it was all being driven by the light of just seeing the knife. So that was psycho. I mean, I just, if you're going to steal stuff, steal from the best. As for the poor little chickens, all my little chickens. Fried treachery. That was I blame Rob. It was all his fault. I was just going to go for stabbing, but no. He wanted the head smashed in. I was actually talking to my sister, who was a stage manager, and she said there was a production that she did where she was backstage and she had to crack an egg next to a microphone for when the head got smashed in. She said it was gross. So yeah, that was my contribution.
Sound tips there for Adam. if we come to need that again. Thank you so much, Janet. Absolutely extraordinary job. It all came together so amazingly well. Thank you so much.
I'm very pleased with everybody. Thank you. I didn't put any comments because I was too busy watching, but yeah, no, it all worked really well. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much. So got just a props here. We've got props for Adam, making the SFX and music better and better every week. Certainly one of the most ambitious, if not the most ambitious ever week that TSMJ is likely to face, I think, on this one. Adam, talk us through the hurricane that's been the last 3 days.
Yeah, I've been so busy I haven't even been able to do like my marketing to try and get people to watch it. So I'm going to have to do that all tomorrow. Yeah, no, this has been a bizarre week. Stupidly, I underestimated the show from the off, and that's not a good thing to do. Because I was like, oh yeah, I know it. I have done it before. It's fine. No, no. My favorite thing this week was probably getting the reverbs in actually for the witches. That took a while to kind of work out, and thanks to Rob as well for his patience and us getting it going, because yeah.
Oh mate, not at all. It paid off in absolute abundance. It was such a fantastic effect. Well played, mate. Well played. I've got one here. Can the witches turn their house lights on so we can see their makeup properly? Still in full witch mode right now. Amazing, amazing. Also, I'd like to shout out quickly over to Lee Heinz. Mentioned you're a choreographer in your bio. Also did some movement work for the witches. Lee, do you want us to talk through that?
Sure. It was really great to work with these women. The platform gives its own challenges, of course, because we really only have this. So it's a lot about hands, and Rob had some great ideas about just body parts coming in close. So that was all fun to work with. And then we did just some very simple choreography for everyone to do together on the choruses. So it was really fun to do with them. That's all.
Fabulous. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Lee. Really appreciate your contribution. Sarah, do you have any questions coming in?
Yes, I've had a few coming through here. Let me look back. So okay, so I've got one for Katrina, which is, how did you get into character of Lady Macbeth, and what are your thoughts on her character?
It's an interesting one. Getting into character, I guess they're both linked. So I think something that's important for us, and is always important for me with Lady Macbeth, is that she's not inherently evil. She's not driven by power. At no point in the play does she say, I want to be queen and I want to have all the power. She's driven by love. She's driven by a love for Macbeth, and we talked a lot about this. Like, she has no family that's made of. She has no friends. She has nobody she talks to. She has Macbeth. And if Macbeth is constantly going out to battle, and she's just lost her son, so if Macbeth is constantly going out to battle, then she's got no one. And the only way to be certain that he won't go out to battle is to make him king. And so she is driven by that, like, need to not be alone. And getting into character for that was purely like the work done with Maz, who was, she's a godsend, honestly. Just working that out, where they've been, what they've been through, was just a joy to work on. But yeah, that was one thing about Lady M. I think she's always perceived as being mean and that, and she's not. I really don't think she is.
Absolutely. Got a question here from Evangeline as well, who is our Romeo in Romeo and Juliet way back when. Said, as a fellow gender swapper, how was it cracking into the iconic character of Macbeth, Maryam? And do you feel like your gender enhanced the role?
Oh, it was such a joy to do. And Macbeth has always been my dream Shakespeare role, and a role I never thought I'd get cast in. So thanks, guys. But yeah, I mean, do you know what? It's funny because even though we obviously did an all-female and non-binary production, I feel like I didn't ever really notice, like, this is weird. Oh, this should be a man. This should be, and I think with all of Shakespeare's plays, there's such a kind of universality to them. And also obviously remembering that all the actors would have been male back then, so it's kind of similar thing, really. But yeah, the second part of that question, did I feel that my gender enhanced her? I feel like Macbeth as a character, and we were saying this in rehearsals, is one who kind of encompasses, and Lady Macbeth as well, the kind of typically masculine and feminine qualities within him. And I feel like, yeah, it's just kind of like leaning into both sides of the same coin, really. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know whether it added anything that I'm clearly not a soldier or a warrior, and I don't sort of look like that. I don't know whether I kind of let myself tap into more of the feminine side there. Not that women can't be fighters, but I'm rambling here, so I hope that's answered your question.
I've actually got one sort of on the subject of the cast, and I'll come back to you in a minute, Maryam. But yeah, there's been a couple of questions about this. So first of all, Rob, do you want to talk about kind of what made you want to do Macbeth specifically as all women and non-binary cast? And then we get to throw over to the cast then of as Maryam's already spoken about as well, but what the experience has been like.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the decision to do it, first and foremost, was pitched to us by Sydney Aldridge, our erstwhile casting director, who is always looking at ways and opportunities to kind of maximise how we can use this platform to create a kind of progressive vision, I suppose, to the extent that we can. And that's always been in keeping with the values that we had from the very beginning. This is something that I was really interested to explore precisely because Macbeth and Macduff and so many other characters are absolute warriors. And I think we need to get past, in a way, the idea that your gender precludes you from doing certain jobs or having certain talents or capabilities. And it feels like this play is extremely gendered, as Maryam already said. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are kind of squished into these boxes and neither of them fit them. And I think that's why, for me, it's not just an all women, but an all women and non-binary cast, because that's as true today as it was then. And there are people that don't fit into these kind of comfortable boxes that we spend most of our time trying to shove things in, just because it's easier for our brains to kind of relax into, because that's what we've been brought up with. And so anything that we can do that puts a pebble on the pile of examining that a bit more closely, I suppose, just feels like it's going to be to the good. And to be fair, we've got a mix of new and returning Show Must Go Onliners here tonight, and every single one of them is unbelievable. Like, the talent in this room is ridiculous, and so you just want to be able to put a spotlight and some shine on those people. So yeah, that's why it wasn't a complex decision, shall I say. It was we didn't like examine it and go, yes, sage, wise. No, it was just like, yeah, let's do it. And now over to the cast. I'd love to hear from you what the experience of it was like in the playing. Heidi, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, so I was totally excited about this particular show being cast in this way, because I came out as non-binary earlier this year and like put it on my resume and everything. And then it's also my favorite show, if I had to pick one, if like somebody was holding a dagger to my throat that I see before me. And I've done it twice before, and one of them was with Goodly Frame Theater, which does very in your lap type Shakespeare, where you're in the living room and you are, sitting with the audience and they're following you around from room to room and you're drinking their wine. This was pre-COVID, obviously. And and this experience was very much like that. I was thrilled and surprised and overjoyed to discover that I felt like I was in the room with my scene partners, and I felt like we were interacting in that same way. And I was so excited at the ingenuity that you showed in choreographing and staging, and that everyone showed really in coming up with, someone would come to rehearsal with like, here's my prop, and it just looked amazing, and then they would hand it to somebody and they'd have the same thing. And I just love that about this company, that it gives me that same feel of immersive in the moment theater that I think Shakespeare should be.
Wonderful. Big shout out to Emily Ingram, our Master of Props, as well, for those all important tutorials that really help us put together this kind of consistent world across the world. A great fact that Matt Rhodes brought up, our associate producer, our three witches are on 3 different continents. So the Witches' Circle actually spans the entire globe. Absolutely extraordinary. Mairin, I'd love to hear from you on this as well.
Yeah, speaking specifically from Macduff's point of view, so much of the language is genderized. So what did it mean for them back then to say, oh, I can't speak about murder in front of Lady Macbeth because her ear will literally fall off, or, I'm upset, I must feel it as a man, or I could play the woman. And that means something different to us today, possibly. It certainly does mean something different to me. when I said I must feel it as a man, there's so much broader humanity in that, as opposed to like, well, men have to react this way and women have to react that way. There's a spectrum, and we all fall along that, and we're not always one or the other. We change.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Anybody else interested to weigh in on even this topic before we move on? Go for it, Dana.
Yeah, so lately, I would say like the past few months, I've been doing all sorts of analysis on specifically Shakespeare's evil women, and one of them is evil women, and one of them is Lady Macbeth. And the big root of why, and goes all into the history and what the audiences thought, yada yada yada. But there's a lot of people who still go, yeah, Lady Macbeth is bad, and it really circles, and I think this, all female non-binary cast amplifies that. A big problem is actually their ambition, and a lot of the times I go, well, if a guy was saying this in a Shakespeare text, it'd be like, yes, strong, yes, but a girl, it's like, whoa, she's crazy. So I just really, and this cast is so amazing, and how much they contribute as far as, here's what I was thinking, or, oh, is this what the intention is? And Rob's an amazing director and really lets us play with it. But he really, but it's a really, really great opportunity to go, wow, let's really examine this language, where normally, things stand out that they wouldn't in a typical cast, so I was real fast to click on audition now. So yeah.
Fabulous. Sarah, do you have any more questions for us?
Yes, I do. So, I've got one here that asks about the backstory of the Macbeth marriage and what did you decide on for that? So, probably want to throw to lovely Katrina and Maryam.
Yeah, so me and Kat had quite long chats about this, and we kind of wanted to focus on the fact that they, as Kat said before, they are very much in love. It is a real relationship and a real loving marriage, and they are, Macbeth has that line, my dearest partner of greatness. Well, he doesn't have the line, he writes it in a letter to her, which implies that they're equals in this relationship. There's no kind of like, one person being more dominating over the other. And we also, from reading the text, we kind of realized that their child must have not long passed away, and that obviously has created a huge kind of chasm in their relationship, really, that they had this child, Macbeth went off to war, and they lost the child, and so him coming back to this empty castle feels even emptier, and we said that maybe that's why there's all this kind of like grabbing at anything that they can, because they don't have the child. And there's so much in the text about it as well. Banquo is going to be the father, we don't have any children, we have a fruitless crown. And yeah, Kat, I don't know if you want to say more about it.
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about the child, because it does feel quite important to them and their relationship as well, and also to where they're sitting, because they've just lost a child, and it's clear that we said to us, we felt that they'd had infertility issues, so this child was like oh my god, we've had this. And because it's really unusual to carry a child to full term in those times, and also to then for the child to survive, so for to even have that child for such a small amount of time would have just been like, oh my god, and then it's gone. And so that's why they cling on to each other, and that marriage, I do think, it comes from love, which in that time possibly wasn't normal, but they, from what you can tell from the text, they don't have anything else around them, really. So you've got to root it in that, I think. I think their marriage has to be that way. Otherwise, it's kind of empty, which makes all their drives and everything pointless. Yeah.
You going for it, Sarah?
No, I was waiting for you.
Don't wait for me.
Oh, thank you so much, both. Yeah, it's so interesting, I think, seeing those mentions threaded through, and yeah, tying all that together. It's, yeah, I find the relationship so fascinating, and so strong, you know, so yeah, absolutely love it. Cool, I've got a couple more questions here. So I've actually got one for our lovely swings, which is, with such a technically challenging play, were you nervous that you'd have to jump in at any time?
Yeah, this is actually the first one that I've done, and I think it's kind of nice because it means you're totally thrown in at the deep end, and now nothing else will ever seem terrifying. But no, I mean, I was sat on quite a lot of rehearsals, so yes, sort of frantically taking notes and making sure that if I was needed, that I kind of knew vaguely what was happening. But I'm genuinely so glad that I didn't have to, because I think all of these people are incredible, and I'm so glad that we got to see their versions of it. And, you know, pop up a bit as Satan bumbling in the background is all right for me.
Absolutely, and it's so brilliant having you in rehearsals. Like the dedication of our swings, we just have to give massive props to our swings, because you always, this week particularly, you've been so dedicated at being there and to being prepared to step in where there's so much going on. And it's so brilliant we got to see you on stage as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Victoria, do you sort of follow the sentiment?
Yes, absolutely. I was telling my parents earlier today, I was way more nervous for this show than a show if I'd had a specific role, because I just felt like I had to prep everything, and I was so terrified the whole time. And I had the same feeling about a quarter of the way through. I just started thinking, please let there not be a problem, because we can't. Everyone just did such a good job and had so much prep and had such great characters. I didn't want even a moment to be missed from them. So I'm really glad we made it through.
Yeah, it's always so bittersweet with the swings. That we and the groundlings love seeing the swings, but at the same time, it means that one of our lovely actors has missed a bit of their scene. So we're always very torn between in those moments. But it's always brilliant then when we do get to see you for a little bit as well in your own roles. So get best of both worlds. So I've got a question here for lovely Nat, and someone was asking about how the groundling shout out bit works with your porter scene.
I don't want to reveal any secrets or reveal any mystery or anything, but I've got my favourite few out there in my little fan club. No, there's like a few favourites, and obviously, you know, my spy, Mr. Matthew Rhodes, was peering around to see if he could find anyone, and we got a few good culprits, so that was pretty fun. So thank you, Mr. Matthew Rhodes.
It's lovely tech, not gremlins, what's the word? Tech fairy, sort of working, or wizard, whatever you like. Perhaps a witch, more appropriate for this one. Working all that, yes, live streaming magic. Thank you, Matt. So, speaking of witches, I've got a question about how the witches evolved. They were awesome. So our lovely witches like to speak about that a little bit.
Does anyone want to go?
First, start.
Okay. Dude, I don't know. Like, I want to give like this really great answer, but like they were so easy to work with. Just like right in, like, you know, we're like, okay, you know, we got to make it creepy. We got to actually our first meet and greet, there was a lot of talk actually about what we wanted the witches to be like eventually. And between, I mean, the lighting suggestions, the costume suggestions, the direction, obviously, my scene partners, it just kind of happened. I mean, the language is like, here you go. And, you know, just really, and obviously our choreographer, really pushing, you know, the animalistic movements. And I mean, for me, that was a little weird at first, but then we turned off the lights and it was like, oh, there it is. And I would just look at my others, you know, the other witches, and I would go, yes, okay. So then the energy was just flowing the whole time.
Yeah, I think the language that Shakespeare uses really helps. It just gives you so much already. And just we had some direction when it came to movement. We had a lot of animalistic direction, and kind of our inspiration were bird-like movements as well, which were really fun to play with. And yeah, it was super cool. And just feeding off each other and bouncing off each other was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Bouncing off each other was so fun. Just kind of like seeing each other's little screen and going, oh, I love that. And I think once we had Adam's, the drumming in the back as well really helped set the tone of, you know, where we were coming from and how earthy and animalistic it was. And with Rob's direction as well, with the rhythm and driving that in and going crazy with it. That was really, really fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of help, like when it came to Lee helping us with the choreo, Rob, and just the light, and just the way we were told to put our screens and just praying around all this stuff on Zoom was just so much fun. It
was a team effort.
Takes a village to make a witch.
Yeah. And Em with the all the costume and, you know, creating little tutorials to help us out. I think that was just the icing on the cake that just put everything together.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Emily, for those amazing designs. She was talking earlier in the interval about the inspiration for the witches, and it's always one of those things where it's like, how omnipresent do you make them and how omnipotent do you make them? And for me, omnipotent is a step too far, in that if you kind of remove free will and it just becomes like a puppeteering exercise, then I think you suck a lot of the drama out of the play, and it kind of creates this sort of vacuum effect. But at the same time, they absolutely know how much they know everything that's going to happen. They know when it's going to happen. But it's not that they're necessarily influencing it. And in that way, it's kind of like the fates, as we talked about from Norse mythology or Greek mythology. You know, they're there and they're weaving the past, present, and future together just to keep the fabric of the universe intact. But while doing so, they're privy to knowing, you know, knowing when someone's candle needs to go out. And we pick that as a motif. Inspired by the out brief candle that Macbeth references late on in the play. And then, of course, interestingly, while it does happen at every other time, the one time it's asked for, it doesn't, which suggests the idea that maybe Macbeth is not going out on his own terms, shall we say. But there's a really good question come through from our audience here. Has acting in this medium changed the way you think about how you perform? And are there any skills you would take away and transfer to performing in a traditional setting? That's for the room.
One thing that strikes me is being overwhelmed is good. Because I think in this format we have to be our own stage manager and dresser and working our own auto cue and all of those things. I've been surprised to find help rather than hinder you in a way, because when you just have it kind of turns off that obsessive voice in your head. It's because it's such a strange, you have to have so many different levels of attention running at the same time when you're acting. You have to be listening so acutely, but also hitting your mark or knowing where your exit's going to be. So I always find that difficult. And there's, I think, that train of thought that most actors have of like, well, that was terrible, or I didn't hit that moment or whatever. And having all these things to do kind of turns that off in a way, which is great. So yeah.
Let's go to Elena next, please.
I think what's particularly interesting with sort of it being a female and non-binary cast is that I can only really speak for myself, but that so often I think we're sort of talked to about limitations and told that there's actors, often as an actor starting out, I certainly felt that I was told where to stand, where to be, and wasn't necessarily given a lot of agency. And what's so interesting about this process in itself is that you're instantly given agency. And I think it's also very democratic in its process, because you have to look to other people, from the swings to your scene partner to the chat that goes on if something's gone awry. I think it's really interesting and very empowering. And I think, interestingly, because I think we've all had, dipped in and out of recorded Shakespeare, there's this thing. There aren't a huge bunch of successful films. And I think that there are some where there are great scenes or sections, but often it has felt historically like filmed theatre. What's interesting about this is I think we're really, hopefully, really bridging that gap and creating a new space where it's, as someone that I grew up in Australia, there wasn't a lot of theatre that you couldn't just like pop to the RSC to see a bunch of plays. I definitely would have tuned into this. I think from the process through to it reaching its audience is really democratic, and I'm a fan of that.
Thanks so much, Elena. Nat?
I just want to say it's so interesting with the use of space and how you can creatively use your space, which I'm in my boudoir, which is, it's great to actually, I crack open the chaise longue and, out comes the poodle and boom, you've got a cat, but I don't know what I'm saying now, but it's just so interesting how you can use of space, and how creatively you can think outside of the box, and I think as Elena said, or Elena, yep, sorry, how you were saying about connecting to communities, and it's accessing theatre to those who may not be able to access the theatre, either due to financial circumstances or due to COVID or anything. So I think it makes it really accessible space wise, and also it's great for comedy. It's fantastic because you can see all of your expressions and you can become really self-conscious. So it's great.
Fabulous. Thanks so much. Maz, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, echoing Elena's point about it kind of bridging the gap between theatre and film, and it weirdly does feel like when you're doing it that you're in a film but there's no one else around, and there is that kind of weird, like, oh, normally I would have the audience's reaction, but I don't really know how that's going. But I think what's great about this, and what I've learned, I think, is just trusting your instincts and trusting in each other, because we have such a limited rehearsal time. We only had 3 days rehearsal, that you don't have time to kind of like keep going over blocking and text work. And although obviously Rob is amazing and is such a brilliant director over Zoom, we only get a couple of runs at each scene, so it's literally like teaching you to kind of like come up with a bold idea, run with it and trust in it, and trust in your scene partners, even though you can't physically see them and you might never have met them, but there's still amazingly that connection, and it feels like we have all met and known each other for years. So yeah, I think that's what's great about it, is just kind of like giving you that sense of, I'm just going to run with this because, why not?
Fabulous. Thanks so much. Go on, Dana.
Just off of that, I think anyone who has done one of these shows will never look at active listening the same way again. If you are not active listening, the scene is just like years longer. This cast I'm watching and I'm like, oh shoot, I have a scene coming up. Like everyone was just really on top of it. And I mean, I think just when we do move to, you know, an in-person platform, I really think that is probably the most, you know, strong lesson that we're going to get out of this is just, you are always on, even when it's not your line, you are on, you know.
Wonderful. Go on, Alexandra.
Yeah, just to pass up on what Maz was saying earlier too, the idea of trusting your instincts. We only get to run this whole show once. I mean, this is, as if you haven't seen these wonderful series before, this is the one and only time we've run the whole show. And so you may as well try whatever it is. You may as well do whatever it is, because you're not going to get a second chance to do it. So just jump right on in. And there's something really liberating about that, saying, right, jump in, both feet, let's go. And then the whole thing takes off because the energy is really amazing that way. So I will definitely be taking that with me too.
Fantastic, fantastic. I've got another question here. Someone said, can we talk about that out damn spot scene? Full credit to our associate director Emily Ingram on this one. It was something that when we came to the R&D, it was like agenda point 1, this scene. No one ever goes to where it needs to go in terms of the arc that that character goes on and where they end up very shortly thereafter seems to sometimes come out of nowhere if that scene is done, I suppose, tamely. And so we really took that on board, and Emily's experience directing and producing horror shows really came into effect in full in that scene. Kat, do you want to talk us through how that was achieved?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked, there was a lots of different things. There was talk of possibly trying to have it incense and rubber cement and how do we get in here? But the thing that eventually worked, I'm allowed to reveal the secrets, yes. Yeah. What eventually worked, I can show you the plate, was foundation and PVA glue. That is what the skin was that I was sort of peeling off. So I put it on whilst the mid-show thing was going on. I'm standing with my hairdryer like, please dry. And then I've just got like a bowl of blood here. And yeah, it was a case of try and make it, because if you scratch that much, you would start to pull the skin off, like the way she's going at it. And then just the thought that she literally is at that point where you just have to dig in there, because the only way she can see that getting out of her skin is taking the skin off. But she's asleep, so she doesn't feel anything. So yeah, PVA glue, foundation, and fake blood is your good friend.
I mean, for me, it's an absolute triumph of the ingenuity and resourcefulness of this medium that A, Emily can have the idea, B, Katrina can achieve the idea, and C, that the finished product would look as, I'm trying to think what the word is, but just disgusting, really, as it did. Yeah, just deeply unsettling, deeply off-putting. And with the aid of that wonderful red lighting state as well, Katrina, that was really highlighting that blood on the hands. Oh, extraordinary.
She was amazing with incoming all of that up. So, yeah.
So good, so good. Sarah, do we have any more questions?
Yes, we've got 1 or 2 left. We'll see how much time we've got to squeeze in.
Might just be able to do them. Maybe 1.
Sure. So I've got one here actually. While we're on Lady Macbeth, did you find that putting the much maligned character, which is we kind of talked about before, about being usually presented as this evil female temptress against equally violent women, and did that add nuance to the character in the context of this particular cast and show?
Well, that's interesting. Do you know, I think we got to a point where gender just wasn't a point to me. Everyone became genderless because that wasn't what it was about. And I think that's what is so important, is like, gender doesn't matter. It's a construct of society. These are characters, these are people, and putting this woman up against this other woman, if anything, it just amplified, because it was purely just feeding off of what Maz and everybody else in this phenomenal cast were giving. I don't think that's a very well thought out answer, but yeah, I guess I hadn't thought of it that way because I came to it with characters rather than gender. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I think there was a bit of talk in the chat, but yeah, about you completely forget as you're watching. You just don't notice. You just see all of these people and all of their own characters and their journeys and their relationships, and that's it. It just completely it fades away. And yeah,
that's what the focus of it is, and it's a proof that everyone, I think that's what's important. Everybody can inhabit these characteristics. Men, women, non-binary people, everybody, people, human beings, doesn't matter what gender you are or identify as, you have these within you. And I think that's what it just encapsulated.
Yeah, I think when we come to these productions, because obviously we've done a lot of cross-casting, the kind of guidance is always don't play the gender in terms of like, don't do this with shoulders and do a deep voice and all that kind of stuff. And like, you know, we were trying to make sure that what you were seeing was the truth of the character in that circumstance and that situation, and what they wanted and what they had to lose, I guess, in a lot of situations as well. And so it's interesting and really heartening that we're almost a little bit surprised by it, but at the same time I'm fascinated by the fact that it's had such an effect on the audience. And I think that's just a really interesting thing to note, that if the other characters being cross-cast has allowed you to see the female presenting characters in a different way, then I think that's a really interesting and unexpected light on it, I suppose. That's just one of the gifts of doing a production in this way, I suppose. Yeah, absolutely. Sarah, do we have any other questions for this evening?
So I think we might
one more.
One more. So let me see.
Sure.
Well, I did have one question actually, just about the between scene shots and where they came from.
They came from a stock footage service that Emily and I spent about 2 hours today searching through frantically to go, what's the mood? What's the mood? And so, yeah, we just tried to kind of put things together that were as sympathetic as possible to the narrative, really. Oh, and look at Heidi's lovely doggo. Oh.
This is Spriggan, and she did not bark one time when my microphone was on. So can she get a hand, please?
Such a good doggo.
I have two dogs, and Kieran is always quiet. But Spriggan, it was a real big ask for her. I have my dog treats right next to my computer, which I'm tossing in the middle of my scene.
Amazing. So at the end of these shows, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know this, we have to sign off, and we have to wave awkwardly for about 10 seconds while the live stream catches up with what's going on in here. I think if I could just ask everybody to close off their cameras, and we'll leave Heidi and lovely doggo for the audience to enjoy for that 10 seconds. I think that would be just a perfect end to the evening. So thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you next week. And to play you out, here is wonderful Heidi and her marvellous pupper. Thank you and good night.